Hello and welcome to another video from earnped.com. I am StevieB, happy to have you all with us today. As you can see, I am doing some vehicle repairing on the mothership Cronin. I got a fresh cup of coffee ready to go, so we got plenty of sips and smacks for all the haters out there. So today I wanted to answer a couple of questions about vehicle structural engineer, vehicle repairing, and defense in general. These are questions I've gotten over the past couple of days and something that I wanted to put out there because every now and then you just need to keep the information fresh for the players. So if you've seen my other videos, you know I'm big on defense, you know I'm big on vehicle repairing, and people ask me a couple different things. First question somebody asked me was they've been at Zaikyon Citadel and they were farming some free defense skills there, and they said there's just not as many people here as there used to be. Have they nerfed how it works? Have they changed something in the algorithm? Does it still work? What's going on here? And I think my answer that I gave the person is still going to be accurate. Nothing has changed at Zaikyon. In order to change how farming defense skills at Zaikyon works, they would have to change a lot of different things. They would have to change a lot of things about the way creatures attack, defense works, the skills work. There would just be too many things to change to really nerf it, in my opinion. It's not a high priority for them. It's not something that's going to break the system. And to be quite honest, it's something that you have to have a very special personality type to do. You guys have to remember, I probably died close to 250,000 times at Zaikyon when I very first started. And it's not fun. It's not entertaining. It's just repetitive. There's not many people out there that can do that kind of a task 250,000 times over a 6 to 9 month period and actually find it quote-unquote enjoyable. So that's the biggest thing, is when people log in, they want to play, they want to have fun, they want to be entertained. And skilling defense skills at Zaikyon, while functional, is not necessarily entertaining. The other thing is, now that we have codex, it is a lot easier to skill defense simply by hunting than it was before. Whenever I very first started, we had a 10,000 puny iron mission chain. So you would kill like 100 punies, then 500, then 1,000, then 5,000, then 10,000 punies, and all punies were created equally. And only after you got all the way through those mission chains did you get your reward. Well, with Codex, it goes off what the creature actually is. So a Berklide puny is counted as a Berklide toward the Berklide Codex, whereas a different type of puny is going to count towards that type of Codex. So you can actually get a lot further with your Codex rewards than you could with the Iron missions. And if you select, I believe it's Athletics, Courage, and Evade over and over and over again as your Codex reward, your Evader level is going to grow quite high quite quickly. So especially if you were to start at Camp Icarus and go with the different types of punies there, get 10, 15 levels of Codex on those, then hop over to North Swamp Camp, get 10 or 15 levels of Codex on Exosaurs, then you go on to Twin Peaks, get 10 or 15 levels of Codex on Argonauts that are level 5. Your Codex is going to very quickly build up your Evader, which kind of nullifies the whole point of doing the Zaikyon thing. Now, I'm not saying don't do it. If you want to do it, it's how I started. I think it's still a great way for a lot of new players to start, especially if you're having problems with defense and a whole lot of fapping early on. As I've always said, it's not something you want to actively do. It's more of a passive activity, right? It's something you want to do while reading a book or while watching a TV show in your leisure time. So that's one thing I wanted to address right up front. Next, I wanted to address the question about VSE. A very close friend of mine asked me, is it actually worth repairing vehicles and spending the money on the welding wire and the repair tools in order to get the skills? In my opinion, yes. Even if you don't plan on crafting, because crafting can be very expensive. Lord knows I've lost a lot of money crafting in my time. It can be a lot of fun, which is unfortunate because it's one of the better parts of the game. But then even if you do make things that you're planning to sell later on, selling everything off can be very time consuming and very painful. So it can take you a long time to see rewards from crafting if you're actually able to break even or, heaven forbid, make a profit. So why would we use VSE if we're not planning on crafting or if we're not planning on doing a lot of it, knowing that it costs us money? Well, one thing is if you get skill pills cannot be traded or sold. 'em. They also are not lootable in PvP space, which makes them perfect to use for crafting. So while skilling VSE. So if you've got them from strong boxes, or if you've got them from events like the recent Arcadia Gold Rush event, they're the perfect thing to take into space because they can't be looted if you were to get killed. And while you're repairing, having skill pills running gets you extra skills, which is great, right? But why do we need those skills? Well, I am going to look at a different page while you guys keep watching me rep the ship, rep the ship, rep the ship. Let me explain a little bit about vehicle structural engineer as a profession. So here is what goes into it from a skill standpoint, into the profession itself, and I'll go through this line by line telling you where the important ones are. So the very first thing, if you were to go to the wiki page and look at what skills contribute to vehicle structural engineer, the very first one is an attribute, which is intelligence. Now, attributes cannot be chipped in or out. This is one of the 5 things that you have to get just naturally or from the meta, from Codex. So it has a 5% effect on the total profession level, and you get an HP every 80 intelligence you have. So every time you gain 80 intelligence, you're going to get an HP increase, right? Now, most people are never going to get more than 1. Getting to 160 intelligence would be astronomical. Getting to 240 would be impossible as far as I'm aware. But needless to say, that's 5% of the overall skill. Now, Blueprint Comprehension is what most people do VSE for. They want to unlock that, which unlocks at level 10. It does have a 9% effect on the overall VSE profession. However, there's no skill increase. Now, vehicle repairing and vehicle technology, which are 37 and 12% of the profession level respectively, they are not hidden, they are not locked skills, they're just natural skills that you have from the get-go. Neither one of those has an effect on HP. But here's where we do. Serendipity. Serendipity unlocks at, I believe, level 30, and it has a 4% effect on the professional level, but you get an HP for every 1,600 points of serendipity that you have. Now, if you've seen my other videos, what else does serendipity contribute to? Correct. Ding, ding, ding. Defense skills, evader and dodger. Intuition. Intuition is a hidden skill. It does not unlock until level 80. It has a 7% effect on your VSE, but it also has an HP every 1,600 points. Now, level 80, you're thinking, man, that is huge. Yeah, but guess what unlocks intuition? Guess what one of the very few things that unlocks intuition is? Ready for this? Level 80, any defense profession, such as dodger or evader, any mind force profession, or vehicle structural engineer. So there are people who've been playing for 15, 16 years trying to get their evade or their dodge up to level 80 to unlock intuition. I mean, that is a beast of a challenge. I'm only like level 39 evader, and I can't even imagine trying to get to level 80 naturally without codex rewards and without chipping in, because already at level 39, I'll get like 5 ped worth of a defense skill, and it's like 10 points. It barely moves the needle. So I can't even imagine trying to get to level 80 as far as defense goes, just from an evader perspective. However, intuition unlocks with VSE at level 80. Unlocking at level 80 VSE is a lot easier, a lot faster, and a lot more reasonable than unlocking it via evade. Now here's the interesting thing. Remember, you get 1,600. You get an HP every 1,600 serendipity, and an HP every 1,600 intuition, right? So let me hop over right here. Let's see here. Serendipity is 5% of your evader level. Intuition is 3% of your evader level. So not huge as for the contribution to your evader once you unlock intuition. But can you imagine if you're already level 80 VSE, you're already having trouble getting your evade up, what an extra 3% could do? And remember, serendipity, you're getting serendipity after level 30 VSE, so it's 5% of your evader right there. So moving on back to the VSE, let's keep going. Let's see here. Electronics is not a hidden skill. However, there is no HP increase, 6% of your VSE. Engineering is not a hidden skill. It is 10% of your VSE, and there is an HP increase every 3,200 points. Mechanics, not a hidden skill, 6% of VSE, no HP increase there. Scientist is a hidden skill. It unlocks at level 60 VSE and has a 4% impact on your VSE and an HP increase every 1600 points. So yes, vehicle structural engineering, repairing ships like the Cronin, yeah, it will help with your crafting skills should you decide to go that route. But I don't just do it for the crafting skills. I do it for the HP and for the defense. Whenever I'm up here repping, I'm not just going, oh my god, I'm going to be able to use higher level blueprints, or I'm going to be able to craft a little bit more efficiently. What I'm really looking at is I've got 4 different skills that I'm getting, well, 2 at the moment because 2 of them are still hidden for me. But I've got 4 potential skills that I can unlock just by using VSE that can increase my hit points. 3 of those increase a hit point every 1600 points. 1 of them increases a hit point every 3200 points. But I've also got 2 of those skills that will contribute to my evader and my dodge and help me increase my defense. So when you're looking at whether or not vehicle structural engineering is worth the cost, you've got to look at it from more than just one perspective. You can't just go, okay, well, I plan to craft, but I only plan to do a little crafting, so I really don't need it. Yes, that's true. You don't need the crafting skills if that's strictly what you're doing it for. But are you repairing the ship and burning through those repair tools and that welding wire simply to increase your crafting abilities? Don't get me wrong, if you plan on being a crafter, this is by far a better way to do it than sitting at a crafting machine crafting all day and losing money hand over fist. It's much, much cheaper to just burn the wire, burn the repair tools, and get your crafting skills that way. But even if you don't plan on doing a lot of crafting, if you plan to play the game long term, are you going to need more HP? Skills and HP get very, very tough to acquire once you get to the higher levels. Once you get 200, 250 HP gets extremely hard to get. So if you're focused on only hunting, it is going to take you forever. If you're focused on only mining, it's going to take you forever. If you're focused on only crafting, it's going to take you forever. The easiest way to get HP quick is to have a broad range of skills. And one of the best ways to do that, one of the cheapest ways to do that, is through VSE. You're going to get HP, and you're going to be able to contribute to your defense, both evader and dodge. So let's assume you were to get to level 80 on VSE and unlock Intuition. You would have a total of 8% of your evade skills coming simply from the skills that you're earning while doing vehicle structural repair. So generally speaking, I know it's not for everybody, especially the free-to-play crowd. It might not be for you. Again, this game can be played 1,000 different ways, so I don't expect everybody to be like, oh yeah, I can do VSE and get to level 80 and unlock Intuition, woo woo. However, if you're planning on playing extremely long term, and if getting as much defense as possible and getting as many hit points as possible is important to you, VSE might be an important component of doing that. If you're a long-term player that has been playing for years, and you find that your HP has stagnated to no growth at all, and your defense has stagnated to virtually no growth at all, VSE might be a way that you guys can get higher defense, get higher HP, without having to go through another 20 years worth of effort. There have been people that have played this game since day one that aren't level 80 evader or dodger and haven't unlocked Intuition. So it's something that is definitely something to consider if that's one of your goals. Also, there is another unlocked skill. It doesn't come from VSE, it comes from evade, and it comes before level 80. It is, I believe, Quickness. Yeah, Quickness unlocks at level 55 evader, and not a lot of people have unlocked it. So a lot of your higher level players have, obviously. It has a 9% contribution to your evader, your jammer, and your dodger skills. 9% all the way across. Unlocks a level 55 evader, and you get an HP increase every 3,200 levels. It is potentially possible that through VSE, you could actually unlock Intuition at level 80 VSE and start getting that 3% contribution. Remember, you've been getting a Serendipity contribution of 5% ever since level 30. It's possible you could do that before reaching level 55 evader naturally and get an 8% boost, which will help you get to that level 55 evader quicker, thereby unlocking Quickness, thereby getting you something that contributes another 9% to those defense levels. So it's more than just the crafting skills. Obviously, if you're going to be doing a lot of crafting, getting the skills this way is by far and away cheaper than throwing away hundreds of thousands of ped crafting trying to get skills. But also from an HP and a defense standpoint, it can be very, very important. Also, if you plan on doing competitions, that might be another reason that VSE could be important for you. Now, they're redoing the Mayhem competitions at the moment. We do not have any word on what the new competitions are going to look like. I expect we will get word here fairly quickly as Halloween is fast approaching, and Halloween Mayhem is usually a pretty big deal. It's always one of my favorite Mayhems for sure. So I'm sure we'll get word on what the new competitions are going to look like very soon. But as you know, most competitions have different limits when it comes to profession levels. One of the reasons that I started doing VSE early on was competing in Mayhem. I had to keep certain skills below certain profession thresholds. I actually unlocked Serendipity using VSE. Most people just do it naturally hunting because it's pretty easy to get like rifle or BLP up to level 30 pretty fast. I was actually able to unlock VSE through hitting level 30. I was able to unlock Serendipity through getting to level 30 VSE before I got to level 30 in any other profession. So depending on how you play and what your goals are, VSE might well be worth the money. Obviously, if you plan on getting a lot of HP, being a long-term player, having an extremely high defense profession level all the way around, and plan on doing some crafting, VSE is definitely the way to go because you're hitting the check marks across the board. It's one of the few things that you can do in-game that pretty much just checks all the boxes. Plus, on top of that, sometimes it can be relaxing. I don't do a lot of VSE anymore. In fact, I haven't been up here in quite some time just because I've got other things that take my time and focus, so I can't just be in space all the time. However, it can be a very nice way to just relax, decompress, when you want to do something in-game that actually gets you somewhere, but you don't want to be focused on the game 18 hours a day, having to strain your neck, strain your eyes, and just constantly go, go, go. It's one of the few things that I can log in, I can talk with my friends, catch up with everybody, talk about what's going on, new things that we found out that are cool in-game or in life, and then I can just kind of set it and forget it. So I'll probably be up here most of the day because I've got a couple of big projects I'm working on, and I can do this in my free time. So I'm gaining HP, I'm gaining skills, I'm gaining profession levels, I'm gaining unlocks, I'm gaining crafting skills. I'm checking all those checks across the board, but without actually having to focus on the game 24 hours a day. It's almost like being able to be at zaikyon and not have to actually look at the screen as you do it. VSE, you can do that. zaikyon, you cannot. So that is kind of some of the reasons that I advocate doing VSE if you can afford it, even if you don't plan on doing a lot of crafting. At the end of the day, you've got the information. There's why I do it. Everybody does it for a different reason. You have to decide if it's right for you. So I know one of the big things that keeps a lot of people from doing VSE is the cost of the repair tools. As you guys know, I have the RK0 competition going on. A lot of you have been participating in that daily. I've still got plenty more to give away. I'm going to be heading back to Calypso later tonight. I've got a couple of withdrawals to pay, and I've got more RK0s to be handing out. Also, keep in mind that we do have the advanced competition going. If you would like in on that, please shoot me an email at sbraggs62@gmail.com. That's sbraggs62@gmail.com. If you're wanting into the advanced competition, please be one of the people who does the regular RK0 competition on a daily basis, because in the advanced competition, I really only need people who are going to be religiously doing it every single day. The RK0 competition is really easy. Just go to Google, type in 181 Close Now, hit search. Whenever the 181closenow.com website pops up, click on it, click on the blog, go to any of the blog posts, click on a blog post. There will be a form where it says address, put RK0. Where it says name, put your in-game avatar name. Then fill out the phone number and email. You can use a fake phone number. It doesn't bother me at all. Preferably your email that you signed up for earnped.com with would help. That way I can match stuff up if I have a problem finding you. And just submit that form once a day, and that will get you entered for an RK0. Pretty much everybody who's entered is getting one. If you've sent in an entry and you've been sending them in religiously over the past couple of weeks, holler at me if you haven't gotten one yet, because I've got plenty of them to be giving away. I will keep the RK0 competition going pretty much indefinitely as long as people are religious to it for me, because it helps me out in a myriad of ways. No, I can't give you an RK0 every day, but if you're religious to doing the RK0 competition on a pretty regular basis, I will be religious to helping you guys out. So guys, from earnped.com, I've been StevieB. We hope this has been very informative and given you a little bit more insight into all the ways vehicle structural engineering can help you out. Remember that if you're wanting to get onto a crew, the Cronin crew is happy to have more reppers. They do rep flights daily. Granny is amazing in every single way. I really appreciate her giving me the opportunity to rep on the ship and be part of the crew. If you're wanting to be part of the crew, get a hold of Granny. She's more than happy to have most people. There are rules. Definitely check out the Cronin website for the rules. Be sure you understand them before getting a hold of Granny. And please remember that if you're going to be on the ship, every now and then it never hurts to buy your supplies from Granny. Only Granny authorized suppliers are allowed to sell anything on the ship, which, guys, it's her ship. These things cost thousands of dollars, and she lets us use it to repair for free. So be sure and support Granny. Also, if you need a VIP warp or a daily scheduled warp, check out the Cronin schedule for those. They come in super handy. I've taken a couple over the past couple of months when I need to get back and forth between planets, especially when I have a lot of loot I don't want to take through PvP lootable space. If I have, a pet or two worth of loot, I might fly myself, but if I've got any substantial amount of loot, I'm always going to get a warp from Granny just to be on the safe side. It's well worth the investment. I think it cost me 10 ped to get from Cali to Arcadia, and I could have gone back had I wanted to, but I decided to stay on Arcadia for a week because I had some business to attend to there with a friend that was doing the Gold Rush competition. So anytime you need a scheduled or VIP warp, hit up the Cronin crew. Also, if you're going to be doing your repairing, check out the Cronin crew to see if you can get on. As I said, read the rules on the Cronin website first. I'll put a link to the Cronin website in the info below. VSE is one of the better parts of the game because, in my opinion, it's kind of like sweating. It's one of those things that you can do without having to be super, super active sometimes. However, if you're going to be on a ship like the Cronin that's doing repair runs, try and stay somewhat active. That way you know if the ship's under attack or if you need to move from one position to another, from one spot of repair to another. Don't just set it and leave it for 18 hours and go to work. Don't do that. That would be super bad. But guys, we hope this video has been really informative. We will be back with more great content for you in the very near future. Until then, sip, sip, smack, smack, F the haters. Good luck, Stevies.